ZIP 80209 is one of Denver's most established high-demand addresses, anchored by Washington Park and close-in neighborhoods. For realtors, it's a reference zip that helps set expectations for premium pricing and buyer standards. Even when the broader market slows, 80209 tends to stay liquid because location quality is hard to replicate. The conversation here is usually about timing, preparation, and positioning, not whether demand exists. Geographically, this zip sits south of central Denver with quick access toward Cherry Creek and downtown corridors. On a map, it functions like a hinge point between park-centered living and employment access. 80209 spans a mix of classic single-family streets, higher-end remodels, and pockets of attached housing. That variety is why price statistics can look different depending on the data source and housing type mix. One current benchmark is Realtor.com's reported median home price for ZIP 80209 at about $137 million in the October 2025 reporting period. That same source shows strong year-over-year movement for that period. Zillow's average home value metric for 80209 is a different measure than a monthly median sale or list price. Zillow shows an average value around $948,117, with a modest decline over the past year on its page. Redfin's ZIP level view shows a recent median sale price around $1.1 million, up year over year on their latest snapshot. Treat this as a transaction signal, not a universal price for every sub-area. When list medians, sale medians, and modeled values disagree, it usually points to mix shift and negotiation dynamics. In 80209, that often reflects which segments are trading this month, not a simple up or down story. Realtor.com's ZIP overview shows an average around 62 days on market and notes it has been ticking up compared with prior periods. That's a pace signal that matters for both pricing strategy and expectations. Redfin's ZIP snapshot also shows very fast marketed timelines in its recent view, which can happen when homes are priced precisely and hit the strongest buyer pockets. The result is a zip where average can hide a split market. When days on market stretches, buyers gain time and options. When properly positioned homes still move quickly, sellers keep leverage in specific tiers and locations. In a premium zip, negotiation often shows up as inspection credits, targeted price adjustments, or concessions rather than dramatic list price breaks. The key is that leverage is now more situational than automatic. At the statewide level, Colorado Association of Realtors describes higher inventory and longer days on market compared with the most frenetic years, creating more balanced negotiations. That context frames how 80209 behaves inside the bigger Colorado market. National forecasts often focus on rates and affordability as the primary driver of demand shifts. Fannie Mae has published outlook commentary projecting mortgage rates around the low 6% range into 2026 in its forecasts and releases. In 80209, rate movement tends to change buyer bandwidth more than buyer interest. That can shift which price bands transact most actively month to month. Realtor.com's ZIP rental view shows a median rent around $1,138 for the October 2025 reporting period. Rent helps frame buy versus rent conversations, but it is not the full affordability picture. ZIP-specific property tax burden, insurance cost, and typical HOA totals vary widely by home type in 80209, and a single clean ZIP-wide figure is not consistently available across public sources. When those costs rise, they usually show up as longer decision cycles rather than immediate price collapse. Buyers should expect premium pricing, but also recognize that longer market times can create more room for thoughtful terms. The most prepared buyers still tend to win on the best located homes. Sellers typically benefit from the ZIP's desirability, but outcomes depend on accuracy in pricing and presentation. In a more balanced environment, close enough pricing can lead to longer timelines than many owners expect. For realtors, the strategy edge is segmenting the ZIP into micro-markets and buyer profiles. This is also a ZIP where pre-list planning, disclosure clarity, and a strong launch week can materially change results. Public schools in 8209 are served by Denver Public Schools, with district boundary tools maintained by DPS for the current school year. School assignment can vary by address, so boundaries matter at the block level. Washington Park is the defining outdoor anchor, And Denver Parks and Recreation operates the Washington Park Recreation Center adjacent to the park setting. This is a daily life driver that consistently supports housing demand. Denver Parks and Recreation also operates Harvard Gulch Recreation Center nearby, supporting year-round indoor programming plus seasonal outdoor pool access. For lifestyle-driven buyers, these public assets can be as important as commute math. Denver highlights its broader urban trails system, and the Cherry Creek Trail is a major corridor that connects neighborhoods across the metro footprint. Trail access is part of the daily mobility value proposition around this part of Denver. For neighborhood-scale gathering and retail patterns, Washington Park-adjacent corridors like South Pearl Street and historic South Gaylord Street function as recognizable hubs, alongside nearby Cherry Creek North's BID-managed district. These clusters shape lifestyle demand without being tied to any single listing. The 80209 market remains premium and highly location-driven, with negotiation leverage best understood by segment and price tier. For ongoing ZIP-level data context and active listings, additional market research is available through v6d.com.